There are a number of road safety campaigns geared towards making the roads safer. But have you given a thought to suggestions that some of these accidents can actually be prevented if people prayed or sought the face of God? The Impact Souls mission, together with GPRTU and the National Road Safety Commission, have this morning been seeking the face of God, they say, at the National All Drivers Prayer Summit. We'll delve deeper into that, but first, some drivers have been sharing their thoughts on this issue.
Overspeeding. So sometimes we drivers, when we drive, we have to calm down on the road, and we shouldn't do some overtaking, cross our friends rough. Sometimes it can cause the accident.
So do you think there's some spiritual force behind some of these accidents?
That one there, I can't think so. So it's not true that there's a spiritual, but it's ourselves doing that. Maybe when your friend do mistake to you, you also think to do the same thing to the person, and that one is ourselves doing that. It's not a spiritual thing or something like that.
To me, it's the drivers, because they rush too much. When Easter is coming like this, they will say, I want to go and come, I want to go and come. So, and maybe somebody do want to go and come. That's why it's called road accidents.
It's the spoiled cars. They do park on the way, on the road. So any mistake the driver gets, it will make their cars. You get me right?
Well, as for the accident, what I would say is the bad road, the nature of the bad road we have in Ghana, that causes the accident. Yes. So we don't have roads in Ghana at all. The roads are bad. So, and what I would say is the speed ramps, I hope they are. Last week I traveled to Kumasi. The speed ramps are many on the road, and for that speed ramp, it weaks the shocks absorbers for the vehicles. So that one can cause the accident. Yes.
So, do you think there are some spiritual forces behind some of these accidents that happen on our road?
Oh, spiritual forces. That one I can't say much because I'm a Muslim. I don't believe in such thing. There's no spiritual forces. It's the nature of the road. I would take it that way.
Usually, the passengers cause more road accidents. So we need to talk to the passengers.
Sometimes our races, the roads are no good, and sometimes our tires, like motor, that is the roads, but if like you take it like from here to Amasama, from Barrier, we see from Barrier to Dwente or Pokasi, all the roads no good. And sometimes our roads, the street lights, all are off. Do you understand? And sometimes, like the rainfall, all the roads is no good. So after you are coming, if you don't know about the road, cause about accidents.
I'm a driver by profession. Many of the road accidents, some are negligence of our drivers. One, in some places overspeeding, especially when you are reaching a curve or approaching an uphill. You see, these are roads are not. We don't have more tracks. There are 2 lanes and others. So if approaching some places like that, you don't take care. You approach an accident or a parked vehicle, you could not help.
All right, let's have a very quick conversation on this. I have in the studio here Reverend Cyril Bennett Crab. He's with the Impact Souls mission. That's a group praying with the GPRTU. He's also with the Accident Victim Support Ghana, a group that seeks to support accident victims. Mr. Crab, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I want to find out, first of all, whose idea was it really to pray for reduction of accidents?
Actually, the National All Drivers Prayer Summit, it's a vision and an inspiration from God that I had. I am the brain behind the...
Are you a driver yourself? Though?
I drive. I'm not a driver, but I drive. And I have driven, and I've also been a victim of accidents before. But some 8 years ago, the Lord asked me to start a campaign for prayer to be collated for accident and accident victims.
So you said 8 years ago?
Yeah, 8 years ago.
So you've been doing this for 8 years?
We've been doing it for 8 years.
Do you think it has made any impact so far?
Well, spiritually, yes. But
so how do we measure the spiritual impacts that you're talking about?
You see, my prayer alone cannot curb the situation. You agree with me that the madness is now a national canker. Until it hits a particular person, until it hits a star, until it hits probably a president, a prominent person within, then we talk about it. But you ask yourself, have you, as the individual within the citizen, has taken a sole responsibility to campaign for road safety? Because we keep on saying fidgeting with phones on our roads. We keep on seeing the jolly walking on our roads when we are crossing the zebra crossing. We also see the irresponsible driving that goes on. We also see how people don't buckle their seats. We also see how these days it has become rampant, the overspeeding.
Exactly.
We are seeing overloading, and these days it has become like a lifestyle.
So what you do is not just to pray.
No.
Beyond that, you do some sort of advocacy.
Sure. In fact, it's a road safety advocacy campaign, just that we are backing it with prayer. Yes,
so what do? You gather all the drivers and then you pray?
Actually, the National All Drivers Prayer Summit is for drivers, with drivers, and by drivers.
Okay. So when you say drivers, are we talking about trotro drivers?
I'm talking about commercial drivers. I'm talking about transport operators. I'm talking about you yourself, individuals.
So how do you gather these people together to pray, or do you just go out there to encourage them to pray?
No, at the moment we are in touch with the transport operators. We also collaborate with the National Road Safety Commission, GPRTU, POTRA, and then the likes of them, those who are into road safety, the stakeholders, DVLA and the rest, and we gather and pray. Indeed, we cannot have all of them to come together to pray, but if they are going to delegate people from their sectors to come and represent them in that prayer, we believe that that amount of prayer can help in curbing the road madness that has befallen us.
Has it been done, or is about to be done?
It was done a while ago, about 2 hours ago.
About 2 hours ago?
Yes, it was.
Did you get all the people?
Sure. In fact,
to come on
this
board
year we have
people did the commercial drivers, for example, abandon their vehicles to come and join you pray? Did they do that?
We didn't do it at the market or at the lorry station, but we will do it on the 1st of July. This year at the market. We are now planning where we will do it, because it went very well, and they agree with me that the prayer has helped. It's just that people are still adamant, and so we are praying that this adamancy that our drivers have taken on, this
is that
prayer,
a spirit?
It's in fact.
So you're praying that the prayer will break the spirit of the adamant spirit in the drivers.
For 8 years, I've been doing this. And every year it goes through some kind of dynamism. Now, what the Lord tells me is that the people ourselves, we are very disobedient, because if we obey road traffic regulations, if we obey the instructions that has been given to us, the education that has been given to us by the National Road Safety Commission, who are doing very well to curb the situation, we would never have the increasing rate that we have now. Until recently that Ebony died. Now everybody is alarmed. Are we waiting, God forbid, that you will be involved in an accident? Are we waiting also for you to be involved? Will you be happy?
I will not be. But anyway, let me give you the final words to encourage the people who drive. I mean, you've mentioned all of the things beyond spirituality. Maybe since they see you in, maybe since they see you in that, they will take your advice more seriously. Very quick few seconds to advise drivers, especially the commercial drivers. I mean, all of us are involved in the reasons why we have accidents on our roads, but your final words in terms of
my final word is that the clergy should also get involved and start trumpeting or creating the awareness from the pulpit. Above all, we are praying that everybody who is listening to me should come also on board to support accident victims. Now we have so many accident victims, and we are praying that as we join hands with Accident Victim Support Ghana, we would at least find a way that we can support the accident victims that we have at the moment, and in a way also we ask the accident victims to join the Road Safety Commission. This Easter, my prayer is that everybody would talk about the passengers themselves, would correct drivers, and drivers will also buckle up. Drivers will also adhere to road traffic regulations. Don't drink and drive. We are in a system where drink driving is on a high or is on ascendancy. We are begging that this Easter, especially on Easter Monday, accident increase. And so we are praying that all commercial drivers or people who are going for funerals or whatever party or celebration you are going, please, if you are the one behind the steering, don't drink and drive. And we are driving, drive carefully. Make sure you put up your seat belt, you open your eyes, you make sure your lights are okay. Where there are no signs, please slow down and obey the signs that are on our roads. And I believe that after Easter, by the special grace of God, we are going to have an accident-free. I want to stand in the stead of National Road Safety Commission. Yesterday we launched our Easter program. We are saying that the family needs you, the citizen, Ghana needs you, and so make sure that during Easter and after Easter, you will stay alive, and our roads will be safer for us.
Right, you have a role to play in making the roads safer for us. I've been having this conversation with Reverend Cyril Benedict Crab. He's with the Impact Soul Mission, the group that's been praying with the GPRTU for reduction of road accidents on our roads. And of course, he's also with the Accident Victim Support Ghana. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.